Yep. Just wanted to update everyone. So pending a physical, we agreed to trade Robert Quinn for a fourth-round pick in 2023. Just want to start out by thanking Robert for everything that he's done. I know when I took this job, he embodied, everything that we were looking for to get this thing started. The way he played, and what he stood for as a human being. I know the Eagles are really fortunate to have him. Anytime you have a guy that's in the 100-sack club, that's pretty special. I've hit on this before. Obviously, part of the tough thing with this job and this position are the tough decisions you have to make. And I always feel like there's the emotional side, the human part of it that you're affecting not only a man, but also his family, and you're kind of shaking that all up. And I don't take that lightly at all, and I'm sensitive to that. You also know that you're tweaking the fibers of your locker room, and that's a big deal too. And he meant a lot to that locker room, but I'm fully confident that the guys, especially on the defensive side, the Jalen Johnsons, the Eddie Jacksons, the Roquan Smiths, Justin Jones, those guys are going to continue to hold it down and be leaders on that defense and help us continue to move forward. Then on the business side, it just made too much sense for what we're trying to do. It's going to allow us to continue to build a highly competitive roster. I think the other thing, too, on the business side and really the football side is I just really trust, Gibson, Muhammad, Dom Robinson, Kingsley Jonathan. Those guys are going to continue to do a good job. And just to kind of finish everything up, I also want to give, Ian Cunningham a lot of credit. He put a lot of work into this. Obviously, his relationship with Howie went a long ways. There's a lot of trust there. And I also want to thank Howie for his part as well.
Brian, two-part question. Why about this compensation hit the mark for you and how it fits with the long-term vision? And also, what happens if you can shed us any light on Robert's salary and how that factors into the deal you guys made?
Yeah, I understand the question. I'm not going to get into the contract part of it. Really, it just made sense. Like I said, Ian and Howie have a good relationship. I thought the value was fair for a good player that has a lot of rush production in his background. So it just kind of worked out.
The way that last year when the Broncos and the Rams pulled off, it sounds similar, at least for what they did with Von Miller. Did that kind of influence the way that you guys were able to structure this sort of deal and get this one done?
We really didn't look into that so much. It was just more of, the draft compensation was the main focal point.
You had said in the preseason, or in the off-season, that you didn't plan on trading him. Mm-hmm. What changed?
Yeah, like I said, I think the guys around him. I really do trust in, Gibson. He's had a good start to the season. Muhammad, he's brought intensity and toughness to that group. And even young, Dom Robinson has flashed. Even, he took the ball that Roquan got the other day and has a promising future, and I think he's going to continue to trend upwards.
You guys seem to be having a little bit of momentum, or the wind at your back after the Patriots game. Was that at all a consideration when you're sitting there? You've got a week, 6 days till the deadline. Yeah. But you've got some pretty good feelings in the locker room, and how to do this might change that or affect that.
Yeah, and that's, when I talked about kind of the emotional part, that definitely is. I value, I think I've talked about that a lot, the locker room and what it means in the culture. And it sucks to mess with that, to be completely honest with you. But again, my job is to do what's best for this organization, not only now, but in the future. So I felt like that was the best move for us to make.
Quinn said last week that he didn't want to be traded. He'd prefer to stay here. Can you give us his honest, or can you be honest in giving his reaction to when you told him?
Listen, he's a pro. We had our conversation face-to-face just to let him know, the scenario, what was going down. He was professional about it, understood. I'm sure, like I said, it wasn't easy to kind of have everything shaken up, at this point of the season. So, yeah, I think he took it like a pro and understands the business.
Are there any more stokes in the fire for maybe another possible deal at the deadline, or is this, you think, going to be it?
It's hard to tell. I know we got a few more days left. There's not a ton going on right now, so I feel good about where we're at.
Roquan Smith broke down up here.
Yeah.
What did you think of that? And Did you realize how much he meant to?
Yeah, you know how much Robert means to his teammates, and that's why these decisions they're really really tough because it's not just it's not a transaction. It's deeper than that.
You've never traded, as a GM, you've never traded somebody that you've gotten to know well before.
Yeah.
You came in, you traded Khalil.
Yep.
That was
Kind of before you were in the same building, really. On a personal level, is it hard?
It's extremely hard. It's extremely hard. It's the same thing, releasing a player when you've had time together. It does get difficult.
Obviously, for a day that has some emotional impact, there's got to be something exciting for you in being able to get a return that maybe people didn't think you could get. When you look at the possibility of what you can do with the pick coming back, what gives you that juice just in regards to that?
Yeah, and that's where you kind of have to compartmentalize those two different areas. For the future, I do think it's going to give us the ability to continue to grow and build that foundation that we're trying to build. That is the exciting part.
In terms of tweaking the fiber of the locker room, your words, is this something where do you address the team on something like this? Like just to talk about losing a guy that's respected that much?
Yeah, I know Matt has talked to the guys about that. Again, just to make sure that everyone's doing all right. And again, we understand the magnitude of, a little bit of a shakeup like that.
As best as you can tell, how did Robert's production in the 7 games impact the market? Like, do you think you'd get less, more if you had done this in the beginning of the year or in the off season?
Yeah,
Cost there.
I'm not sure. I know I wanted Robert on this team in the beginning. There weren't many conversations at all. I was transparent with him and his crew about that. I knew the way he played this game, the motor and all that. We needed that to kickstart on how Coach, Alan Williams and Flus wanted us to play defense.